Hello and welcome to my roller tutorial where we will turn all of this into a beautiful wet set. For starters, you'll need a paddle brush, a boar bristle brush, a toothed comb of wide and short tooth if you can, a roller that is about 1/4 inch, a roller that's 1 inch, and then a medium-sized roller that's anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And then of course your pin curls. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do first is brush all of my hair forward. And that way I'll be able to part out the middle section first. That's going to include our bangs for this set. So that one is the most important for me to set because my bangs tend to dry quick. So what I'm doing is laying a roller over that center section and then creating parts around where the roller ends on both sides. So I'm sectioning off the first side here, and I'm going to use one of my pin curl clips since it's a long clip to go ahead and hold that section back. I'm pinning it in the front because I do have shorter bangs, so that way that little bang piece that's left out of this section doesn't get in the way. And then I'll just repeat that same process on the other side. And then once I have that sectioned off, I'm going to take my first roller and put it right at the very front so I can section off how wide that roller's section needs to be. I do not allow for any wiggle room in the beginning sections because I want those curls to be the tightest. So once that's measured, I'll take that other section and just pin that back and out of the way with another pin curl clip there on the top of my head. And I will take that first section and I'm going to comb it so that it's straight up. That way we can roll the roller backwards with the most amount of tension to get the most beautiful tight spiral curl. And you'll see pieces fall out. That's perfectly okay, especially if you have shorter bangs like I do. Just go ahead and keep adding them in as long as you can smooth the ends under to make sure the ends get curled the most. So once you have your roller as smooth as you can get it, go ahead and pin that right to the top of your head there. If it's still not perfectly smooth, I like to just go ahead and pull it back with my finger and set it with a bobby pin. And then I'll just go ahead and continue that process with the same small roller for the second roll in that center section as well. Just combing it straight up to get that nice tension. Again, I do have some shorter bang pieces in this section too, so I'll just add those when I can. And just make sure everything is nice and smooth there and pin it securely with the pin roll clip and the bobby pin on top. So now I'm going to take a medium roller because this section is not quite at the crown, but it's pretty close. So I want a lot of volume to start building up here in particular. I want the tighter curls at the bottom and kind of a smoother top section, so it's somewhere between a late 40s and early 50s hairstyle. Not quite as voluminous as the late 50s, early 60s, but not quite as, I don't know, I guess fluffy and loose as the 40s either. It's sort of a hybrid that I do. So now we're starting the side sections, so we're gonna unclip that side piece, brush it all out, and then I'm going to measure how wide the rollers will sit for this section since they're all going in the same direction. That part should get to the top of your ear there. So once you've parted that out, comb the back section behind your shoulder. And then I'm just twisting this out of the way in the front here so that I can make a clean clip to keep that back section in place while we work on the front of the sides. So again, I'm just measuring how wide this roller is to create that first section. It's a little bit easier to use the comb here. And you may have noticed that I just used my fingers to create the sections on the top. I've been doing these roller sets for at least 5 years now. Well, actually, no, it's January, isn't it? Oh my goodness. So this is my 6th year doing these sets. So my hair is pretty used to these sections at this point. If it takes you a little longer, or if you need to section it with the comb a few times, that's perfectly normal. I had that same issue in the beginning, and after lots of practice and finding a set that worked best for me, this just got a lot easier over time. But you're just going to repeat that same process of measuring the sections, combing everything straight up, and then rolling the rollers as tight as you can. I do like to roll them vertically to create the most amount of tension for a nice spiral curl. And you'll notice my hair is incredibly wet. I did just get out of the shower. I have hair that cannot hold a curl to save my life, so I do need to set it as wet as possible to give it the best chance of drying in this shape. And it's perfectly normal if you realize you've gotten a couple hairs that are from the wrong section in with your rollers. It's pretty easy to just go ahead and remove those edges, since they usually are just right there on the outside and they feel like they don't belong. You can just slide them right out. So now that we've completed that first front side section, we're just going to repeat that same process here on the other side. And again, you can see that my hair is pretty cooperative with this roller set because I've been doing it for many years. I did actually just in 2025 though change how I did my bangs. I used to follow a set inspired by pinup doll Ashley Marie, where she would roll her bangs in the direction that she wanted them to flow, and that is a perfectly beautiful section. It is a wonderful set if you have longer bangs, or if you want more of a teased up bang, which I totally used to love and rock. I have gotten more into the 40s style. I'm more inspired by Sage Lillyman these days, but I do still occasionally go back and forth with the side swoop versus the rolled back swoop. It just depends if you want a more Marilyn-esque set or a more Rita Hayworth set. And this is definitely more Rita Hayworth inspired, very old Hollywood, very vintage glam. I was actually pretty excited with how cooperative my hair was today. I was able to get this set done in about 30 minutes. It did take me a little bit longer because there were a couple moments where I thought I was missing some of my rollers, but they were in fact still hidden within the scarf that I keep them wrapped up in when I'm not using them. So it probably would have taken me closer to like 20 minutes if I hadn't been running around looking for something I hadn't lost in the first place. But this is how the front and sides should look at this point in the game. It's okay if the top section is not the cleanest, because the tight curls that you really want to focus on are that first bang and the sides. So we're just going to continue down the center of the back of my head. So this will be from the crown backwards. I'm sectioning off the two sides. Those are the trickiest sections, I would say. So I like to do those last and just get the center done. So I'm taking an elastic and sectioning off that back side section and doing the same thing on the other side. So down the center is still pretty straightforward. You do have to operate by feel, and again, it's okay if it's messy because this is the looser part of the set. So I'm using my biggest roller here now, the one that's closer to about 1 inch, And I'm just rolling that down for my crown section here and pinning that in place. And then I'll do the same thing with the large roller directly under it. You still want to measure about how wide that roller is, and again, you operate by feel. You comb that section straight up and then roll it back down and pin it in place. And then I'm taking the small roller again, that 1/4 inch roller, and I'm just going ahead and doing one tight curl at the very bottom. That's going to help it tuck underneath for that lovely Donna Reed-esque furled under bottom. So then I'm taking out this bottom back side section here. This is where it gets a little tricky, is the top piece. So once you comb that out, you're going to use your pinky and you're going to take a section from the top of your ear up to that mid-sized roller we used at the top of our head there. You're going to section off the rest and put that behind your shoulder, and then you're going to comb that section straight up that you have in your hand, and you're going to separate a small piece at about the height of that second to last roller on the side, and you're going to twist that off so it's out of the way. And I like to lay it over my rollers there just to hold on to it for later. You're going to use that large roller again because this is still part of that crown section, so you want that volume and it doesn't need to be a tight curl. And then I'm going to use a small roller for that piece that we've twisted off, because this is still part of the face framing, so you want those bouncy fluffy curls right there. You want those tight little ringlets. So you'll pin that in place, and this is why I like the long clips too, because you can get in between the sections there. So now from here on out, I'm going to use one mid-sized roller right underneath that funny piece that we did on the diagonal. This is still slightly diagonal, but it should be closer to a straight section. And now the bottom should be a lot easier. These are going to be straight sections. They are not going to be at a funny angle anymore. And we're just going to finish this off with our small 1/4 inch rollers again for those bouncy, fluffy bottom pieces. And just keep pinning those in place. Again, it's okay if these aren't the cleanest sections. The back is done by feel, and as long as it's a nicely brushed out, teased look, no one can really tell that these were not sectioned super well. That's the beautiful thing about a fluffy brush out. The sectioning is not as important as it may seem like it is in the vintage diagrams. They really are just guidelines. So we're just pinning this last roller in place here at the very bottom of that side section, and then we're just going to go ahead and repeat that same process on the other side, taking out the elastic here, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with measuring that top section from the top of the ear to that mid-sized roller in the center, and combing that straight up with the rest tucked behind our shoulder, twisting off that small section at the second roller, laying that forward, and then combing everything up with that large roller and setting that in place to keep that volume in the crown area. And then switching back to the small roller for that nice face framing ringlet. Now, of course, this is just what works best for my hair. I do have very, very thick hair as well as a lot of hair, which is a tough combo for rollers, that's for sure. So it can be a little bit challenging to try to set these curls in place. And that's part of why I enjoy the volume at the top of the head, because not only does it take some of the pressure off of trying to set 100 tiny rolls, but it also helps keep the shape better Those curls at the top of my head when I first started and tried to use tight curls simply would not hold all day because my hair would get so heavy and so tired. And I also get very oily hair because it is naturally so dark. So that does not help anything in terms of keeping the shape or holding the curls, especially in warmer weather. Not that I'm worried about that this time of year, but I just like to set these good habits for myself. So now at this point we are switching back to the small rollers after setting that mid-sized roller behind the diagonal sections. So we're back to the straight sectioning here. We've got about 2 more rollers to go. The amount of rollers you'll need will vary depending on how much hair you have, how tight you want your curls, and if you choose to follow my voluminous crown section or choose to do the spirals tight all the way around. But now this is what your roller set should look like if you're copying mine exactly. Again, see that back center is a little messy, but that really does not matter because that's the fluffiest section, so it's okay if it's loose on the brush out. So now we're gonna sit under the dryer. I usually set for about an hour or so. Alrighty, so now she is dry, so we are ready to start unrolling. I'm just taking out the clip, and then you'll see me unroll in the direction I rolled up from. I'll just roll down, and you'll see she's nice and springy. So I'm just going to go ahead and take down all my rollers. I like to start in reverse order, so from the bottom up. Because my hair is so heavy, as I stated before, this just helps make sure that the top curls don't weigh down any of the bottom curls there. And it's also just a little easier for me to unroll in that downward direction. You will see that in this particular set, unfortunately, on the right side, I did lose some of the curl there. So it just will depend each and every day that you set it, how your hair behaves, what it will respond to, and if you use any products, that can also be a variant there on how your set comes out. But the important thing is to just take it as it comes. If it's springy and tight, that's cute. If it's loose and wavy, that's cute too. It's all still a beautiful set at the end of the day. And the most important thing is not to stress about it and just work with how your hair is behaving that day. That will create the most beautiful shape, is simply working with how it sets and not fighting against it. And you'll be able to create some gorgeous waves and a beautiful vintage style. And you'll see what I'm doing is occasionally I'm fluffing up the underneath of the curl just to give it a little bit of a boost once she falls down, just to kind of try to defy gravity a little bit more. So now that I have taken out most of the rollers, oh, there we go, took out that last one. Now we're taking that boar bristle brush and we're just brushing from the root all the way through to the ends of the curls there. And she's getting nice and fluffy. We're taking out some of that spiral definition there. And this is where it gets nice and voluminous and you'll start to see those waves form. And then what I did at the bottom there was just sort of smooth it under and roll it towards my face on the side. Underneath, I would tuck it towards my neck to give it that nice curled under 40s effect. And then at the top, I'm just brushing straight back over the crown so that there's no part lines. And I do have a cowlick back there, so that covers my cowlick as well to give it a nice smooth presence. And then I'm taking my Tresemme Extra Hold hairspray because my hair does have such a hard time holding onto a curl. I need something really strong, so I'm giving her a good, healthy spritz. I am not holding back. And I'm just making sure I get everything covered because this does help me with frizz control as well. That is sort of a drawback with the Velcro rollers, but I do find that they have the best grip for me personally. So then you can just take your hands and smooth out any areas that are frizzy or that have loose hairs poking out in a direction that doesn't go with the waves. I'm pinching where I see an S shape and making sure everything is tucked under at the bottom. And I'm just really defining those waves to get that S curl there in the front, that very Hollywood glam-esque moment. She is a little bit longer now, so the set is a little bit wavier rather than springy and curly, but she's still cute, she's still the moment. And you can certainly get a beautiful variation of looks. Here's a more curly look, here's a very curly look, and then of course here is the fully brushed out soft wave moment as well. This set does produce all of these variations. It just depends on your products, on the weather, but I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun rolling.